Michael Saylor speed ran a Bitcoin presentation to Microsoft in 3 minutes. Bitcoin drops 20% in just a few minutes in South Korea, and BlackRock now has over 500,000 Bitcoin in assets under management. Hunter Biden is pardoned in spite of Joe's continued promise that it wouldn't happen. XRP has overtaken USDT for the number 3 spot in market cap, and Trump's cabinet picks continue to bode well for a boom in the United States of America. We're less than 50 days from Inauguration Day, and crypto has the wind at its sails. This is our Hurry Up and Deport 'em All Bad News, episode number 754 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
And when I'm talking about deporting them all, I am, of course, speaking of all of the whinging Hollywood leftists that are either leaving the country or going to blue sky because they can't handle my free speech.
You think you talk shit on the podcast, dude? Like almost every single one of Joel's Instagrams is talking shit to liberals. Almost every X post. Like I think Joel's main interests now, his hobbies are talking shit and crypto. Like those are his two favorite topics.
You called me a white supremacist. You said I was supporting a fascist. You said I was supporting literally Hitler. I'm going to take some victory laps here for the next 4 years or so.
Okay, I guess we're all it's like, oh man, it was a little cringy there in the previous administration when they stole that last election.
Yeah,
and you can say that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I am a conspiracy realist, and
yeah.
I've been awake to the ways of the world for almost a decade now, which is actually, excuse me, almost 25 years. Excuse me, since 2000. I'm thinking a decade. What the hell, decade? No, 2.5 decades, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I've
More
got
than a score. You filthy, dirty whore.
I got my dark MAGA hat on, although for me it's probably more dork MAGA.
Dork MAGA. Actually, I was kind of Elon when he was dancing around going, yay,
yeah.
Yay. He was kind of dork MAGA. Like,
not as dorky as Tim Walz, though. Tim Walz was like extra dork.
Oh my God.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Bad Crypto Podcast. And yeah, we do talk some politics here because that's what we like to talk about. But we're fascinated with the crypto world, what's happening around blockchain, Bitcoin, and all of the interesting things. And so we've got news for you this week. Of course, if you are viewing this episode rather than listening to it, then you could see the visuals and follow the bouncing ball as we go through the different stories. For example, as I timestamp this recording right now at the 3rd of December, 2024, if you can believe that already. Coming up here, we're in the last month of the year. It's 2:20 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time in Puerto Rico, and the total crypto market cap is 3.613 trillion. Bitcoin 95,664, Ethereum 3572, XRP in the number 3 slot. We'll talk more about that at $2.55, up 85% this week. Solana 224, BNB 663, Dogecoin almost 41 cents. Cardano at $1.20, and we've got staked and stable coins. So for lack of having a real number 9 and 10, Tron is 27 cents, and Avalanche on a consistent altcoin tear now over $50.
Yeah, it's been great. Whenever I started consulting with them, working with those guys, they were around $14.
You did it, right?
So I was like, you guys are welcome. I mean, seriously, congratulations. I helped you guys grow. No, realistically, it's like you knew this was going to grow. And especially with some of the stuff they're doing with Avalanche 9000.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been working with the marketing department over there and sharp people, man. And then the thing is, like, you knew it was going to start rolling when, like, oh man, all the top marketing agencies that are being brought in, all the companies and the people they're working with. I was like, this is not some BS. What are the biggest winners?
Look at this.
Hedera.
Hedera, 143% this week. If you had HBAR, then you are Yeah, 33, almost 34 cents, and
Yeah.
consistent. Like
You know what I
there's
really
no
should have
red.
done, Joel? Is like whenever I sold my home, I bought a bunch of Hedera, I bought a bunch of Avalanche, I bought some Bitcoin, I bought some Solana.
Hmm.
And actually I didn't buy very much Solana, but I should have. And it's like, and then I remember somebody once upon I was watching a video and they said, you know what, right now the season's just crazy. You should just hold everything. I'd be trying to trade things now. And man, all those tokens that I bought are killing it now, but I don't have them anymore because you got to live. But I think that there's some interesting projects that are popping off on this, including XRP. Look at that, 85% this past week. I think that once Trump got elected, this is a direct impact of Trump. So yeah, so if you look at that thing,
Look at that.
like yeah, this thing sat forever. Like if you bought the all-time high way back in the day, 2017, 2018, you were waiting forever. And you still haven't even gotten back to where it is. But that thing was even on election day, I think it was around what, 51, 52 cents,
Yep,
55 cents,
yep. There it is, 50
1 cent.
cents.
So if you would have just said, you know what, boom, Trump got elected, now it'd have been like, all right, the SEC, all the things are going to change. 5x on XRP. But the thing is XRP has sat in so long, like,
Did you
and we'll
say
talk about
it's
this a little bit
satin?
more, but
You say
it's satin down on the things.
it's been satin on its ass, and
Yeah. And so memes are starting to launch on it now. So
hmm
they've had some memes on it, but now but I would be very careful because I think what there's been some leveraging that's been happening on XRP, and we'll talk about that a little bit more.
yeah.
I think this like, it could be a leveraged pump.
Look at the
We'll see.
greed right now. We're at a 80 extreme greed. People are feeling it. At the beginning of a bull market, people start to see dollar signs. Bitcoin's kind of going sideways right now. Ethereum is lagging behind, which is really interesting to me. And I did some research on that. And traditionally, Ethereum is a good to 8 weeks behind Bitcoin. And I'm going to pull that chart up again because although we have some other altcoins that are bringing all-time highs or moving strongly towards all-time highs, Ethereum 4,800, I believe, was the all-time high. We're sitting at 3,571 right now. I'm going to zoom all the way out to max. Yeah, here we go. 2021, we hit 40. I can't quite zoom in. It's about 4,800 though. And so we've not even hit where Ethereum was back in spring of this year, back in March when it hit
Right.
over $4,000. So I kind of
Well, I mean,
feel,
think about that. You can look at that from that perspective, or you can look at it from why in 2021 did Ethereum tear off like that? Well, the meme coins were launching on that. DeFi was really big on that. And now what's happened is all the things that were working for Ethereum then, and then also wasn't Ethereum then, it was proof of work, right?
right.
Now it's
That's
proof
proof
of
of stake.
stake,
Hmm.
right? And so, and then also a lot of these other projects have taken the technology that made Ethereum blow. And now, well, now Solana is the place to launch meme coins now. You don't launch them on Ethereum so much. There's some that go on Ethereum, but it's like it's almost like the technology game has been matched with some of these other chains, and so Ethereum's not as important, it
So
seems.
let me play devil's advocate with that. We could say that in Bitcoin, there's way better chains and coins for payments. Bitcoin was supposed to be for peer-to-peer payments, but we're not really using Bitcoin for payments
Well,
unless you're using Lightning, but it's the Mac Daddy. Ethereum is number two, and I think that it's going to remain there because it is the Mac Daddy of smart contracts. And I think as everything else moves, Ethereum moves as well. And I'm going to call $10,000 on this run.
okay. I think that Ethereum will not be the number two crypto for as long as you probably think.
Well,
And so
XRP could take it.
I think XRP will probably end up taking it over.
Mhm.
And we're going to see, I think Avalanche could if they get their cards put in the right place because um, I think it was a big mistake for Ethereum to go to proof of stake overall. I think it was. And so we'll see how it all pans out and not financial advice, but we're entertaining financial content.
Yeah.
Most.
So yesterday I was on X. I'm getting used to saying that instead of Twitter. And I saw, or maybe it was on YouTube, I watched a Michael Saylor presentation. And I didn't know I know he was talking about Microsoft, but I didn't realize this was the actual presentation. He was zooming. I don't have the link to it here in this story. They gave him 3 minutes to present to make the case of why Bitcoin is the best asset they can own. And he went through so many slides so
In three
quickly,
minutes.
just kind of hitting up on the main title of each slide, but there's all this content. And he's probably thinking, you know what, they can go back and watch this and look at the content. I'm going to make the points. And it was like a speed run through a 45-minute presentation. And I'm like, why is he
They got a
going so
video of that?
quickly?
Or is there a video of that?
There
Of his
is, yeah.
presentation?
You can
Oh,
find that
awesome.
video. It's definitely on YouTube. I think I saw it on X.
Put that
Uh,
we'll put that in the show notes for you folks so you can take a look at that.
Now I understand why he was going fast. They literally gave him 3 minutes in the
Come on,
presentation.
why would you give this guy who's clearly knowledgeable about the subject? You're only going to give him 3 minutes. And for one, why would Michael Saylor even go there in the first place? Oh, I only get 3 minutes. Well, then you know what? Screw you. Like there's some pretty funny there's some pretty funny videos of him. It's almost like they'll like when he gets interviewed on stuff and they'll be like, "It's so what about so why Bitcoin?" He just kind of goes,
Here we go.
"So Bitcoin is and there's all these little videos of him just going,
Yeah. So
okay,
he's saying it makes sense for Microsoft to buy and hold Bitcoin instead of buying its own stock or holding bonds. And then he
yeah.
went at them. You've surrendered hundreds of billions of dollars of capital over the past 5 years, and you've amplified that risks to your own shareholders' face. If you want to escape that vicious cycle, you're going to need an asset without counterparty risk. And so, boy, he
Uh,
went right for it. And he says
yeah.
that you guys need the Bitcoins.
I saw something this morning which I thought was interesting. And so when Bill Gates met Warren Buffett, he was like, "Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I need to diversify." And so now he's worth 138 billion dollars, right? But if he hadn't of diversified and instead kept all of his Microsoft stock, he would be worth about 1.4 trillion dollars.
Wow.
He negative 10x his money by diversifying.
Look at this. I
Isn't that
just
crazy?
pulled up MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holding charts. They just did more. Looks like yesterday they bought more. He's officially MicroStrategy has 402,100. Look at that.
Wow.
Slow and steady, gradually, then suddenly. Like just since, let's see, September 12th, they had almost half, they almost doubled since early September, their holdings as the price
Right.
has gone up.
No, wait a second. Now doesn't BlackRock have about
Well, funny you
500,000 now?
should say that because
Yeah.
we're about to get into that actually. Let me see. We'll just jump right to that story if I can find it. Ah, here it is. Their spot ETF has surpassed 500,000 Bitcoin in assets under management right now. So
Dude.
think about that, Trav. That's what,
That's
4%?
142nd.
That's four. No, it's isn't it four?
142nd.
Okay.
They got half a billion. There's 21 million. So it'll be one 142nd. I don't know how much 142nd is, but that's getting close, dude. That's a lot.
It is 2.5%.
2.5% of all the Bitcoin
So
is
look at
to the
that. You
most
got
evil, one of the most evil companies in world history, BlackRock, in my opinion.
BlackRock and MicroStrategy together are approaching 1 million of the 21 million Bitcoin. You know, we talked about strong hands that are never going to sell. And now, when you're looking at just these two, institutions owning almost 1 million Bitcoin, what happens? And we'll get to this a little bit more when we talk about the U.S. But what happens when the United States says we're making Bitcoin a reserve asset?
Well, it's a good theory. I wonder what's going on with that now because, we'll talk about, I think this is one of the pieces we'll talk about. And I don't know, it's just a conversation here. We don't got to go on the flow of that, but it makes the most sense because right now, the United States has transferred about $2 billion worth of Bitcoin into Coinbase. Now, does that mean they're sending it over there for custody because they trust Coinbase's custody? But this is money that they had received whenever they confiscated it from Silk Road, right? And so, well, it's like I don't know how exactly 16,000 Bitcoin or something they sent over. I don't know exactly how many Bitcoin they've sent
Like
over.
$2 billion.
$2 billion worth of Bitcoin, whatever that is.
Mm.
And so, maybe close to 20,000 Bitcoin probably. And are they selling it? I don't know, but the market did kind of blip a little bit as a result. But I wonder if it's the previous administration saying, "Let's sell this real quick." Screw you
Of course
guys.
it is. Trump
Yeah.
can't do anything yet. They're
Yeah.
not there yet. But yeah, right now we're holding 200,000 plus, and even if they sell some,
Yeah.
we're just going to ramp it up again. Even if we didn't have any now,
Yeah.
they're going to fire it up again because they're
Dude, how
clearly
crazy
surrounded.
though, think about this though, bro, is you can literally go like, oh, we're the US government. We're gonna go ahead and print $500 million and just buy Bitcoin with it. Like
Right.
it almost like I'm gonna print some monopoly money and I want to go ahead and hey, I got a $1 million bill here, you guys. I want to buy some Bitcoin. That should give me about almost 11 Bitcoin, you guys. I'm gonna buy it real quick here if you don't mind.
Okay, so speaking of Bitcoin, something weird is happening in South Korea, and I don't know the politics. I'm not sure.
It's around North Korea. They're
That's
sort
what
of
they're
scared North
saying.
Korea is gonna do some shit.
That's the narrative. But what I'm reading, never believe the narrative, right? What I'm reading on Twitter, people are saying is actually that the president is about to be impeached. And so, because there's impeachment proceedings against him, he's going, oh, martial law. So, what happens? The president declares martial law in South Korea. And look at what happened to Bitcoin against the Korean won. It dropped 30% in minutes. And then, burn. I mean, you want to talk about an opportunity right here? If you were one of the ones that hit that volume when you saw Bitcoin go down 30%, because somebody bought big. They just went, we're going back up on that candle.
Yep, that's crazy. No, it literally went blip and then back up. And there was some bots there that arbitrage some stuff. And then probably think about this is it probably triggered a whole bunch of sell orders like, oh,
Mm.
you know what? If it gets below 1 million, then you need to sell. And then so there's probably a lot of people who are pissed off that got wrecked that they didn't. That's probably more so what happened because then when it came back up, people were buying things that got triggered. The other people that they sold. So it's kind of crazy if you look at it like that.
Insane. So I don't know what's really going on there.
If it's sitting at what 135, whatever that number is, I don't know. It's a big number. Is that even a million? Is that 13.5? I don't even know. Oh wait,
Korean
it's
won
128 million Korean paper monies. And
wons.
so you're looking at that, you're like, all right, I might put a sell order if it goes below 110.
Right.
Maybe if it hits below 100 million, oh, definitely sell.
They're
And that thing went.
crying. They're
Okay.
crying. They're like, because that's the thing about having your stop limits in there. Something like this happens, and the true value actually wasn't there, and because it
Right.
immediately bounced back. And look where it was at the time of this writing, kind of almost back to, where it started, just down a little bit. Just we call this a regular day in crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. Regular day in crypto, folks. Buckle up, buckle in. There you
So
go.
crypto has been Bitcoin's been declared dead 477 times according to the Bitcoin obituaries page, and
How many times was it dead the first time
yeah.
when we did that? When we mentioned that, it was like 170 something times that Bitcoin had been dead or something, if I recall correctly.
So this guy, Rafi Farber, said that he called a Bitcoin top and it was dead back in October of, let's see, when did he call it? Oh, he called this year, April 17th, 2024. He said, that's it, around 25K. Bitcoin is dead. It's going to go to zero. No, he made the prediction at 64,000. So if you invested $1,000 then up to today's price, then it's worth $1,485. That's interesting, but there is something I saw on a video yesterday that said if you put $100 in to Bitcoin at whatever the price was, every time it has been declared dead, you would now have $99 million.
If
So
you if you put $1,000 in every time.
hundred $100 in at whatever the price was every time it was declared dead,
What?
you'd
Oh
have
my God,
90.
that is such a tweetable. That is such a tweetable thing. Let's say that again and let's cut that into a nice little video clip because that's so beautiful.
Well, we'll see if we can actually find the, I saw it on a video or a tweet, but if you had, somebody made the case that if you had bought Bitcoin, $100 worth of Bitcoin at whatever the price was, every time Bitcoin had been declared dead, now you would have something like $99 million worth of Bitcoin.
And you would have spent 477 times at $100,
Yeah.
basically,
What is that?
to turn into
47,000,
$99 million. That's really good.
$47,000.
That's like the opposite of my trading skills.
Yeah. You're all about the buy high, sell low.
Every time they say, "Oh my God, Bitcoin is dead," I sell $100 worth of it.
So, here's some other things that will help strengthen the dollar. The U.S. interest rate cut in December is likely to happen. People are saying there's a 75% probability that more cuts are coming. And then I would expect more cuts under the Trump administration. We got to get back down to a place where people can borrow money again and get home loans and they're not getting totally raped for it. So this will get us to 4.5%. And then I would imagine over the next 2 years, Trump's goal would be to get us down to the high twos. So who knows?
Really, it's like the thing is that you got to print money to make money to have more money flowing in, and they have just wasted so much money, and it's just been insane. I want to throw a little political talk in here,
Go for
like
it.
just how I think so. The Democrat Party is currently in shambles right now because
Shambles.
overall, well, let me say my point because overall, Kamala's campaign, between the PACs and what she raised, they spent, and then Biden before they spent over $2 billion on their political campaigns, and they're in debt by over nine figures in debt now. When they've done all the
Mm-hmm.
math, they didn't pay certain vendors, and just that alone, like it's almost like I think this, Joel. I think it would be so good. Is like, okay, you're running for president. You're running for president. You're the official candidate. You're the official candidate. Here's $100 million each. How well do you manage this?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like 2 days before the election, you should be like, okay, so we're $400 million in debt, and we didn't pay any of these, and we gave all of our staff $500 million, and this and that, and then Trump's like, well, okay, well, you maybe spent 2 billion, we spent 750 million total, and where you gave 500 million to your staff, we gave about 11 million to our staff. Here's how much money we have left over. Here's how we manage this like a
Right.
business. Here's how you just burn money like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Basically, can you manage your budget? And they
They couldn't
couldn't.
manage their budget. They
They
got
couldn't.
$2 billion in their negative, at least a negative $100 million in debt right now.
And
That's
they're
why
asking
America
donors
sucks
for
right now.
money. They're asking donors for money. Oh, and by the way, I guess we're sending $1 billion to Africa right now, and we're sending another few $100 million to Ukraine. All is as Joe, senile Joe, is on the way out the door. And after saying that there's no way that he would pardon his son Hunter, of course, the big news, which even has those on the Democratic side shaking their heads, going, he really blew it. He pardoned Hunter Biden. Nobody is above the law unless you are a member of the Biden crime family.
Oh my God. Can we find that clip? I saw a clip yesterday and they're like, nobody's above the law. Nobody's
Yeah.
above the law. Nobody's above the law. No, like all these Democratic politicians, nobody's above the law. And they're like, oh, well, and then it shows Hunter Biden walking out of Senate to the Curb Your Enthusiasm song.
Yeah.
Everybody's not above the law, except top-ranking Democrats are above the law. Oh, but if you're on the other side, we're going to use every ounce of lawfare possible. Now, I don't care if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. You're probably not tuned into this if you're a Democrat because you fucking hate us now. But it's I'm just saying I've always been in the middle. I've been a moderate. I didn't like George Bush. I didn't like Cheney.
We don't like any of those
I
guys.
didn't like Obama. Like I don't like most politicians, right?
Mhm.
But I look at it objectively. Now I did vote for Obama in 2008 because I didn't like John McCain because I
Mhm.
thought he was pure evil, and I was like, well, maybe Obama's not in it. Maybe he's not a corrupt asshole. Turns out he's one of the most integrated into the whole system that we found out.
Yeah.
And so, looking at this, you just kind of go, wow, what this is not working. It's not working right now, and we need something better. And so, just looking at that, you can kind of, and I think that's why America said, "Meh." And I think that if all of those states that Kamala did win, if they actually had voter ID required, she probably doesn't win all of those states either. I'm just saying
And
this
we
was
will.
probably the
That's
biggest landslide since Mondale
It's coming.
Reagan.
National voter ID is coming. I think on top of that, they need to mandate that every state must clean their voter rolls. And you have to show an audit to prove that you've cleaned your voter rolls from dead people and, multiple registrations and people that are no longer citizens. And then when that happens, and of course they'll lose their minds about all of that. But then in the next election, we're going to see what damage was really done because you and I and many others are still convinced that there's no way Sleepy Joe got 81 million votes. Trump, with all of the energy he had behind him in all the rallies, who got more than any Republican ever in popular vote, only got 75 million in this vote. There's no way Joe Biden got 81 million. It's not possible.
That's why they're going. There must be some sort of Republican shenanigans because where did the 10 million votes go?
Yeah.
Like, Kamala shouldn't she have gotten those? Where did those votes go? Like, if Biden got 81 million, like, why is she sitting at 70 million? What
Yeah.
happened, gang?
They're asking the right questions. They're just totally losing the premise that goes along with it. So they're coming to the wrong conclusions. Where did those votes go? That's a really good question. Let's find out. And I'm going to skip over this one about Trump's administration. We know that Gensler's gonna, is retiring. He's out. Maybe it's going to be Hester Peirce, but the people he's surrounding himself with seem, by and large, to be greatly applauded and approved by most on the right, especially Kash Patel, who, as director of FBI, is going to go to town. And they're going to say, Trav, as they start investigating and bringing these people to justice that actually deserve justice, they're going to say, see, he's a fascist. He's using lawfare. He's going after his political opponents. And what they don't understand is that they're going to go after people for actual crimes, and they're going to publicly demonstrate what these crimes were, and they will be tried in courts of law, and they will most likely be found guilty. And I can't wait to see some of them in cuffs.
I just want transparency, bro. I want the corruption to go away. I don't care if you're on the left or you're on the right. If you're corrupt, you need to go. I've been saying that since you and I've been having conversations.
Mhm.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're a good person and you're on the left, cool. Like, I can understand it. I have a heart too. I can understand a lot of liberal causes. It seems to make sense. Like, oh, there's some things that, like, I lean left on some, I lean right on the others, and I think most people probably have a mix and match. But what's happened is we become so divided by, like, you gotta walk straight down the party line on everything, and it's turned a lot of people off. And hopefully a lot of this stuff gets fixed. How do you disinfect things? You disinfect it with lots of light. All right. You can't disinfect this corruption and more darkness and more censorship. That's why they want more censorship.
And Lysol. You need lots of Lysol.
But don't inhale it because that doesn't help with the COVID.
It's not good. Yeah, wear your 5 masks to make sure. All right, let's get back to crypto. We were talking XRP a little earlier, and it has officially become the third largest crypto, overtaking USDT in market cap. And I think part of this has to do with Trump becoming president-elect, and Brad Garlinghouse, I believe, has met with Trump, and so Ripple XRP is looking at becoming the replacement for the Swift payment system, right? It's blockchain. It's faster and it's more trackable, and it's so many things because of the technology. Whether you like it or not, it's on pace to become the new method for banks to use for quick payments between one another.
Yeah. And not only that, but since the SEC, it's widely considered that the SEC is going to drop the case against them, right? Oh, we have a case. Oh, we won the case. Oh no, they're appealing, and it was just this dark cloud kind of hanging over XRP, right, and Ripple. And I've heard that Brad Garlinghouse is working as much as Brian Armstrong is working with the administration that's coming in to help create some of these regulations. And I look at it as like it's good. I think it's good, but I also kind of I'm pretty impartial. I'm going to give all of it the stink eye because I don't want the fox guarding the hen house. Like
Mhm.
I like Elon Musk, but I don't know that I want him creating all the efficiencies that basically end up helping his companies. If that happens, I'm going to call bullshit on it, right? And it's like I'm open. I'm like I sure hope I'm open and I'm hoping that it's all going to work out correct. But I'm like, when you have the world's richest man who has, if he starts getting bigger subsidies for Tesla and like,
Mhm.
look, here's a $500 billion deal for SpaceX, and I'm going to start kind of going, wait a second,
I'm
that's
more,
bullshit.
yeah, it is, but I'm more concerned about the corruption than I am that he might benefit. I'm
I
like, if
am.
he
I
fixes
don't
it,
like crony capitalism, crony
I,
corruption at all. I don't
I
care what side you
agree,
stand on.
but it's
So,
not the biggest concern. Like
yeah,
him doing it isn't the biggest concern. And here's
yeah,
one of the reasons I think it's going to work out well. The Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, is set to self terminate
yeah.
in a year and a half from the time it begins. Who does that? No agency is put in place to terminate. It's put there and then it gets ground in, the roots go in
Yeah.
deep.
That does seem too soon. Can you really get all the government corruption eliminated in 2 years? I don't know. Now, look at what he did when he took over Twitter, right? Like he got rid of 90% of shit, and then he says, "Okay, now what did I break? Okay, let's fix that."
Right.
Right? Now, I think some of that could be a detriment. I don't know that you can just rip the band-aid off on all of these things because there could be some craziness that happens. We're disrupted. We're getting rid of this. Oh man. Oh, everybody's EBT thing is down. You
I
got to
don't think
wean
that's going to
people off, right?
happen though. I
Yeah.
mean, and this is why he's got Vivek there, right? There's a check and balance built in because they are
Yeah.
co-heads. So they're going to have to
I think
agree.
that's important that there's not just one head, there's two heads of the dragon.
So I don't think I think they're going to
See,
be conscientious about this because they want to succeed at this. You know,
yeah.
Vivek
Oh,
has
I'm very optimistic about it, Joel. I think it's great news, but I'm also going to say for the sake of our listeners is like I don't just have rose-colored glasses on. I
no,
have
of
glasses
course
with no
not.
lenses.
Yeah, you don't. I'm skeptical just because these are human beings, right? And I know human nature, and we are all fallible, and we all
Yeah.
screw up, and even the best of us, with the greatest intentions, money and power can corrupt, and
Well, I think
so.
this though too is that it's almost like money and power corrupt the people most who had no power and had little money, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden now they got big money, and then now like Nancy Pelosi, probably one of the most corrupt politicians out there, depending on what side of the aisle you're on. I mean, just look at her stock
I'd
portfolio.
say, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, it's
Well, I would
obvious.
say, I mean, I always kind of think, oh yeah, I still pretend in my head that there's some liberals that are still listening to us, but they're
There,
not.
there's some people with open minds. You're out there. They write the 1-star reviews, though.
They're
No,
the
there's
ones- we used to like these guys, but now fuck those guys. They're horrible. We hate everything they had to think about, dicks.
which is why I'm going to keep doing victory laps because I'm going to enjoy it while we
Yeah.
can.
Oh, I
You know,
just know that doing victory laps never wins anybody over to your side because I'm good at trolling. I have fun trolling, but you never win them over eventually. So I'm kind of being graceful, and I'm being like, see, you just don't understand it yet. Eventually, you're going to get it. You're going to get it eventually. You're gonna go ding because I've been waking people up since 2000, and I've noticed that being a dick and kind of talking shit never worked. But then
Travis Wright, waking people up since 2000. I do too. I just do
My
it
mom and dad
privately.
thought I was the biggest fucking idiot. And then 9/11 happened. And I was like, dude, I watched a video on this just as an aside. And those planes have been able to be remote controlled since the 40s. There was a Boeing solution that allowed planes to do that. And they said, once this gets engaged, this auto flight thing, there's no way a pilot sitting in the flight deck could literally override it. And he goes, there's no way those people hijacked those 4 planes and did what they did, fly precision. Like they have this whole consortium of all these pilots, and there's like, there is no way, like literally no 0% chance, 0% chance. And so yeah, it was
It
just kind of
wasn't
crazy.
that. It wasn't that for me. It was Building 7. It's like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Why would that thing just fall? And it was the Pentagon. Where's the plane?
Yeah.
Where's I see the damage. Where's the plane?
the
Those are
most
my
the most guarded video captured place on earth, probably the Pentagon. And all we got was this 1/2 a second of a click of a flash and a boom, and you don't see the plane coming in. And then how is some random dude who's not even good at flying able to take this big 747 or whatever 787, whatever it was, and then fly this miraculous maneuver to then get ground level and hit that fucking one layer building
not possible.
perfectly in
Not
one shot?
possible.
It
Not
doesn't happen.
possible.
That was a
You don't win people over on X. That X and Instagram, this is the place to vent. Where you win over is in the one-on-one discussions, and I have those. And in those discussions, I'm not going.
it's fun. I do like to talk shit, dude. I'm
You
so good at talking
No,
shit.
that's
love
where
it.
you have real conversations with
Yeah.
people that actually you can engage with and listen. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep
I
taking
talk
those
most shit on
grabs.
sports, really, because that's where it's funny.
How about
I like to.
what do you think of XRP meme coins?
I think that. Well, I think we might see it blow up. It might be good, but it might be like what happened on Tron. So Tron launched a thing called Sun Pump, and then they've also launched streaming capabilities on Sun or on Tron. And here's the deal. You've got so many people who've held on to all this XRP and all of this Tron for so long. What happened? People came in and go, "Oh, I need to get these meme coins." And then they were using all those new people as exit liquidity on Tron. That's what happened with their meme coins. Is all these people who've been holding Tron finally had new money in so they could get their exit liquidity. Well, I think we might see something similar to that on XRP, because how many of these people bought in on XRP, was holding XRP, no profit for so long, and this could be people's exit liquidity.
And
Or
there are people that are making money. I look at meme coins like this. It is a Las Vegas casino, especially like Pump Fun. You know, there's a couple meme coins that we are advisors on because they're meme coins with purpose. They actually do a thing, an important thing, or an entertaining thing. Or I'm into the big memes. I think that just because of the huge market cap that Doge and Shiba and Pepe, you know, have right now, that as people are looking, where do I invest next? They're going to gamble on the bigger ones that have more
Yeah.
staying power and are least likely to be rugged. So, you know, play with your money how you want to, but
yeah,
this guy,
I would say this, dude, is that a meme coin, the sort of value behind it, the community goes in and they agree that this is now a means of exchange. Now think about this. I was on a big Twitter space earlier today, and this guy, he was from India and he lives in Dubai, and he says, "You know what's the biggest meme? Commodities." He's
Hmm.
like, "Diamonds. Diamonds are the biggest meme,
right?
and they've been around forever." And it's like gold, kind of a meme. We can use it, but I mean, we agree that we're going to use that as an exchange. Dude, paper money's a meme. Dude, look at this right here. Ohio Railroad.
Yeah.
$5 Ohio Railroad. This is a real one from like the 1800s. Here's an old school OG dollar from way back in the day. This is from the early
Nice.
1800s, right? That's like an NFT. Dude, look how beautiful that art is.
Yeah.
Here's a Confederate $50 bill. This thing right here is a meme. What it was? I don't
If
even
you
know.
guys aren't watching, you're missing show and tell. You can go
These
pick
are,
up the show on
these are
YouTube.
real freaking. These are memes. We
Of course
agree
they are.
upon them. We agree that this is a thing to expect. And so that's why if you've watched the video from Murad, 2049, it's called the meme coin supercycle. It talks about why people adopt some of these. Now, I'll say 99% of meme coins are complete shit, but there's some that have this cult-like following that have these passionate fans. Like I would almost say XRP was a meme. It had such the XRP army. They're so passionate about it. That's why with this thing taking off, they're kind of feeling validated about it. It's a great technology. Now that the SEC's out of the way, it's probably going to be pretty awesome, dude. It could be $10, $20 down the road. I mean, it could be crazy.
Look at this. This meme coin, this trader had 9.62 million chill guy tokens that he bought for $160. And as of this story last week, he had $5.6 million worth of tokens. That's
Yeah, I
like,
wonder if
this
he
is
bought
the
that as a
dream.
sky. Did he buy that as? No, it looks like he bought him in a couple of transactions, just kind of really early on.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
half a soul. Did
Dude, he bought a half a soul, and then he bought
quarter
0.25 of a
soul.
soul, and then he bought another half of a soul real quick. Yeah,
Crazy.
dude, you get the right ones, those things can really blow up. You think you get them, and then most of the time, when I'm gambling on meme coins, it's normally I just get wrecked. And then I was
Right.
there was always a moment where I was like, dude, I should sell right now. My intuition's always like, Travis, you should sell now. And I was like, I don't know. And then I don't sell, and then it goes, and I'm like, see, you should have sold. And, and I'm like, son of a bitch, this is the same thing that's happened since 2017. I go, I should sell. Like I remember in 2018, early in January, we were sitting there, and I was like, "Oh man, I feel like we should probably sell." And I was looking at trying to buy that one Mustang car, and I was like, "Dude, maybe it's time to sell." And the thing goes, and then it's like once it hits that peak of euphoria, then it's just like 40% drop, 10% gain, 30%, and then
It'll
you're like,
come back
"Oh my
in 4
god,
years.
this
In
happened!
four
I
years.
got wrecked again."
So here's something that's been on my radar that I'm watching, and I think we're going to see something around this soon. X payments. This account was created in January of 2024. Not a single post out there about it yet, but tell me that Elon is not going to integrate cryptocurrency with X and become a payment platform. My question is what is that going to be? Is it going to be XRP? Is it going to be Doge because he loves Doge and that's on theme? Could it be XLM? You know, Stellar Lumens is moving now. It's at like, I know you got your X.com credit card. Which of these is it going to be? Or is he going to develop a new coin? Will there be an X coin of its own?
Yeah,
I just,
dude, I would almost bet if he's part of the government efficiency thing, and I would bet he's always wanted X to be a payment platform
mhm,
since before it merged with PayPal.
mhm. Yeah,
X.com is pre-PayPal.
yeah,
It was X.com.
I
Like
know.
I remember, and I got $25 for getting this card. They put
Right.
$25 free on it for you, and you got a card, and then you could add money to it with your bank, and it was really cool. It was really early on. Then PayPal bought it, and I would not be surprised if there becomes an X token. As some, because here's why. Here's why I think it's important. Is if they end up getting sort of the money transfer license, like some of these businesses need, you got to have that license. So Visa about a month and a half ago launched their Visa asset token protocol platform of some sort where they're allowing banks to create their own stable coins, right? Kind of like how back in the day you would have just like kind of like this dollar. Oh, it's an Ohio $5 bill, right? And so very similar to that, where you're going to be able to have like what we talked about before. Oh, it's the Wells Fargo dollar, transferring it over to the Citibank dollar, over to the JP Morgan dollar, right? And so they're going to be able to have their own stable coins for their assets within their bank and not central bank digital currencies, but stable coins, big difference. And so I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of that. There's going to be a lot of that stuff sort of coming into play.
You might be right. I mean, personally, I would love to see him adopt Doge. I feel like there's so much background for that, right? And X is not a government operation, so he could do what he wants. And did you know the dude is one of the top Diablo 3 players in the world?
No, at one point he was number
He's
one.
number one. I mean, the dude's autistic.
How do you got? What has he got all this time, dude?
I know he loves his businesses. He obviously knows how to hire good people, right? Because that's how you own a business and don't run a business. And he's got all this stuff going on. He put out there a tweet about how much is Hasbro, because Hasbro's basically destroyed Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. And he's a nerd and would love to see him survive. He's put out tweets about, how much is MSNBC, and there's been memes and jokes about it becoming MXNBC. A lot of it makes a lot of sense. He even put
You were talking about putting Alex Jones on at the Rachel Maddow time slot, dude.
Oh my gosh, would that not be?
Dude, what would end up happening is like you're going to have these providers going, "Oh, I'm just not going to have MXNBC on my channel." Like,
yeah,
I'm not.
People would demand it though. In money talks. Money talks. If he were to buy MSNBC, it would rival Fox. It would probably become bigger than Fox as a cable news network, because everybody would be tuning in to see this, and then they'd hear things they might not hear.
I wish you could buy CNN and it could be called XCNN, because it's not CNN anymore.
All right, we got a couple more stories here to take a look at before we call it a day with you folks. One of them has to do around the idea of payments again, and Coinbase has plugged Apple Pay into its fiat on-ramp. Why? Third-party crypto apps, so that people can now pay with crypto purchases by default on your iPhone with this Coinbase plugin. This is really important because Apple has not had any crypto integration into Apple Pay yet, and this is going to make it easier for people to on their iPhones to pay with crypto, to buy crypto. Great on-ramp.
Great on-ramp. And what is taking Apple so long? My God, what is Tim Apple? What does he hate the cryptos for? Tim Apple?
Tim Apple, the cook?
Yeah.
One more blast from the past, and that is one that causes me a little rejoicing and disgruntlement. Celsius is distributing $127 million to creditors in a second bankruptcy payout if you lost. I don't know if you remember this, but during the Bernie Madoff scam, people were withdrawing money up until it got shut down. And there was clawbacks on that where they said, hey, you need to give us back some of what you took to pay off other people.
Oh, right.
Well, Celsius did that as well. And because I withdrew some cash remember when we had Brad Mills can on the show, and he was talking about why Luna failed, and he said Celsius is probably going to be one that's next. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? You're probably right. And I pulled my cash from it. And Celsius, there was a thing that happened earlier this year where they sent out legal notices saying, this is how much you took, and we will negotiate. You need to pay back this amount. So I had to talk to a lawyer and go, what do I really? And I made an offer, and I sent them some cash back. Otherwise, they said they could sue me for the full amount. Huh. So this is how they're paying people back now, with money that they took from those of us who were smart enough to withdraw. So if you had lost money on Celsius, then you might want to look into how do you get a piece of that back. Meanwhile, Alex Mashinsky, former guest on the show, faces fraud charges and a potential prison sentence of over 100 years.
Want to state again, we did not advise Celsius at all. We were not advisors for FTX.
Nope.
We were not advisors for any of those shicey with Luna. We didn't talk to them. Nope. But the ones that we work with end up being awesome. So you guys should work with us, and you should maybe be on our show because we're awesome.
We appreciate you listening and or watching. Of course, stay tuned to the X or Twitters, because we are doing live streams now as well. And it looks like Thursday we're going to be kicking one out as well. Just need to talk to the Mixie folks to make sure we're good to go. And appreciate you, Sir Lord Travis. I
appreciate you, Sir Lord Joel Comm. It's great to see you. Hope you had a great holiday and all the things.
We're really just getting in the groove here. Christmas parties coming up and good times, and going to see my kids and go to some shows. and celebrate with the peeps that matter most. And you guys matter. We appreciate you. And I think the reason we appreciate you most of all is because you just have a real penchant for staying there.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.